my favourite things kind of weaved into a song. You've got your more drumsy, you've got your little bit of electronica there, you've got some pleasant singing, and a nice tempo to dance to, and just to sit and relax to. That is an all-round good song.
I'm pleased you give it a thumbs up and a lovely praise of why you enjoy it. Oh dear. I wonder what Brian thinks. Harry?
I quite enjoy it.
No, what do you think Brian thinks?
Oh, what do I think Brian thinks? I think he's thinking what he's going to do with his next gazillion dollars. Probably open up a bank or something, which I'd quite happily come and work for.
Of course you would.
But no, I quite enjoyed the track. It sounded a bit Flaming Lipsy to me, and I'm not surprised to find out that it's co-produced by Dave Friedman, who of course works with Flaming Lips and Mercury Rev. And oddly, it reminded me a bit of the theme tune to Chariots of Fire by Vangelis, but I don't know why.
Will you be seeking out the album though? Because you're not a man who really likes the, what's very, very hip and trendy. It normally disgusts you and appalls you.
I'll probably wait for one of you to buy it and borrow it off you.
Excellent. Okay, and finally, Rufus, you are very much keeping abreast with new music. Is that the kind of new music you love?
I'm very much on top of it, Steve, as you know, and I can't believe that they are called The Management, are they?
Well, I think their name was formerly Management. They've reduced it to MGMT.
I'm so pleased that Hale and Pace have really found their in new music.
Yeah.
That's all. That joke. That's all I've got really for my.
Fine. No, it was more than enough, my old friends. I wasn't going to make it because it just seemed too creaky.
It did, and I went fourth. I was getting a bit nervous about it. So it went all right in the end, I thought.
It went well. Again, a reference perhaps lost on Brian, but don't worry, you can look it up on Wikipedia, or at least get someone to look it up on Wikipedia. Maybe one of us. Let's hope. Fingers crossed. Okay, so after this trial, track by Soko. Soko has had 2 million plays on MySpace, and if you liked the Mouldy Peaches earlier, then you might indeed like her music. Back after this track. Already had 2 million plays on MySpace apparently, still only 22 years old. That's a French actress, singer type person, Soko, and that is a tune, Stop Whittling That Little Microphone, because that's going to drive people on the blogs furious. And there we are, so I Will Never Love You More is the tune. Rufus, you're the one who's twiddling, and were you not paying attention? Did it lose you?
No, I was so busy keeping notes, Steve, that I got very wrapped up in that. It reminded me very much of that.
Yes.
And I really like people with thick accents trundling through overly ambitious, syllable-heavy lines.
Sure. That's a very specific like that you want for music. I do look forward to the day you tell your child, this is what I like in music, son, sit down.
It's young, ambitious, ukulele-strumming French girls trying to get too many syllables into a 4-beat line. And it reminded me of the Frente song as well that we used to, the Bizarre Love Triangle cover they do. So I really liked it. There's something very slight about it, but something very delicate and deft, and I thought it was a really beautiful little piece.
Talking of slight and delicate and deft, Tiny Dan, your opinion?
Yes, it's coming my way. There's something indefinable that annoyed me about it.
Oh, right.
Yes, it's very nice, isn't it? It's very nice. It's obviously quite clever, quite erudite, and I just found it a bit annoying.
Clever and erudite are things that make you annoyed.
Yeah. The people who are clearly more talented, younger, presumably more attractive, she sounds it, than me. So perhaps that's what got me. It's just bitterness.
Talking of people who are talented, younger and more attractive than you, Sammy, what was your opinion?
Do you see I immediately looked at Harry there? That was I genuinely straight up the table.
Modest as well.
I've written lyrically beautiful, whingy whiny ukulele.
What?
That's just what I've got.
Shut up.
I really loved the words, and I thought, it's really pretty. But hello, I started getting to us in the end. So I think if she just said it as poetry with a French accent, it would have been really nice.
Maybe you should have put those earplugs in last night when you were at the Pendulum loudest sound system in the bloody world thing, and maybe your ears wouldn't be clogged up with all that nonsense, all that drum and bass. I thought it was very charming. Harry, do you not share that view?
I thought it was kooky girl folk. It seems to me there's a cottage industry making songs to go on Gap or Apple iPod adverts. It's going to be one of those. I've heard it twice. If I hear it another time on the last day of the world, I'll go and get her ukulele and smash it over her head.
The fact that she mentions I will never love you more than my Mac is surely they're going to take that so literally and just whack that on an ad. Okay, well maybe this will charm you more then. Alex Turner, as we know from the Arctic Monkeys, has got a side project, The Last Shadow Puppets. He's teamed up with Miles Kane from the Rascals. Miles was interviewed earlier on the news programme, the Music Week, and if you can download that again if you enjoy this track. There's an album on the way, I guess. Yeah, Last Shadow. Oh, who cares?
Coming later in the year.
Who cares, really? No one listens to this programme.
Steve, it's new music. Don't belittle new music.
I'm not listening. I'm not belittling the track, mate. That's the thing that you're going to do in a second once you've heard The Last Shadow Puppets. And here's the tune, The Age of Understatement. The Last Shadow Puppets, the spin-off project of Alex Turner from the Arctic Monkeys, teaming up with Miles Kane from the Rascals, and that is the tune The Age of the Understatement, which is also the title of the album, which will be out in April, and that track is downloadable from the 7th of April, and you can get it physically on the 14th. So there we are. That's something that a lot of Arctic Monkeys fans have been hotly anticipating. Is it something that you're looking forward to enormously, Sammy?
Yes.
Hang on, let me turn you up. I've done pretty good job so far, but that was sloppy work.
Hello. Oh, hello. There I am. Yeah, it actually literally seems like he can do no wrong. I mean, literally, his girlfriend's Electra Chung. He cannot do any wrong. He's amazing. So yeah, he's touching. He's like a little Sheffield Midas. Everything he touches turns to gold, and he's so young and so brilliant. I think that's marvellous. I'm very excited about the album now.
I think I agree with you, but does Rufus?
It made me feel like a cowboy, Stephen. It made me happy, and I enjoyed it. I giddied along. If, Ernie the Fastest Milkman in the West, it reminded me. Made me feel like that.
Strong praise indeed. And that's a song perhaps we should have played for Brian, but there we are. Never mind. He doesn't understand the reference. Never mind. Benny Hill, of course, huge in America, so they're probably cackling to that with Ron Howard and possibly the guy who played the Fonz. Who knows? I'm sure they all hang out in a big house. And so Tiny Dan.
Yeah, unbelievable. I'd written down in my little shorthand here, I'd written everything he touches turns to gold, just like Sammy. So I can't say anything. She's blown it for me.
Absolutely.
Thanks, love.
Not a problem. Ooh, bitchy. And Har?
Really enjoyed it. Less claustrophobic than the last Arctic Monkeys album, and it reminded me of Ghost Riders on the Sky by Suicide.
Yeah.
Okay, well, thank you very much indeed for all of your opinions and for your contributions today. We were dedicating the programme to Brian, and hopefully we'll burn it off onto CD and then send it to him. We'll get his response, I'm sure, by next week, almost certainly. Very quickly, we were asking for conundrums for Brian, and you want to summarise those quickly?
I have. We've had several texts and emails, Steve, coming in. We've got a lot of people asking about what the etiquette should be for Trevor, for Brian. We've had one from Trevor about etiquette. What should he do if he meets an up-and-coming actress at a flash Hollywood gathering when he remembers her more clearly as let's say an actress, dancer, singer, model, someone slightly lower down on the scale. Someone saying, what if he knows for sure that Julia Roberts has got size 11 feet? Should he blab to the press or not?
What does one do when you've got insider gossip?
That's it.
Well, this is the question.
The answer is, discretion is the first and primary watchword of any gentleman. Brian knows this. I don't need to teach him this, but he just needs to keep quiet and keep his head high and his dignity intact.
Thank you very much indeed to everyone. A little round of applause. We'll play some PJ Harvey. Delivery will be back next week. Thank you so much. I'm going to be in a bad mood, I'm going to sort of lash out at possibly Tiny Dan or Harry. So I think, for everyone's benefit, it's better if you take the rap.
I will take the rap, but I will pass it on to the Music Week. But
Right,
press that
but
button.
nevertheless,
Let's pretend it never happened.
No, let's not. We cannot. There has been too much deceit in the BBC. We have to be honest and upfront straight away. A blunder has happened. You're not claiming responsibility.
No.
You're blaming the Music Week.
It was absolutely Roman's fault.
Right. Now they were on like 4 hours ago, weren't they? So
They were on an hour ago.
right. Okay. Well, either way, what could have been a great start to the show has become a shambles. Let's pretend it never happened.
Yeah, press the button.
6 Music. From 1995, David McCalmont and Bernard Butler, of course, and yes, it's the Steve Show, BBC 6 Music, with me, Steve Merchant, and my gang of cronies. Nice to have you with us. Sorry about the cock-up at the beginning, not my fault. Never take the rap for something that's not your fault, people. It's not honourable or noble. I'm sure Rufus would have other things to say about that. A gentleman never takes rap for something that's not his fault, does he?
Occasionally one has to.
Really?
No, I think so, yeah. And then immediately everyone rushes to your defence and everything's fine and you end up with a medal.
Perfect. Yes, so of course last week, if you didn't tune in, we dedicated the show to Brian Grazer, the multi-millionaire film producer. It was a dynamite show. We've not yet heard back from Brian. I can imagine it's only a matter of time before we hear back from him. Basically, Brian Grazer, who is the producer behind things like A Beautiful Mind and Splash, he's obviously a very rich man, and he's looking for some kind of, as I believe is described in his email, a cultural attaché, someone that can basically provide him with all the kind of cultural, musical, historical, news that he needs stuff. Show, the Brian Grazer Cultural Attaché, and it's very much into keeping with something we've been trying to do with the Steve Show 2008, which is make it a one-stop shop for you, the listeners. We're presuming you're busy people, you've got a lot going on in your life. Obviously we're providing you with essential new music, but what else do you need? You need other stuff to keep you fully abreast of what's going on, things you can talk about in conversation and so on. So to that end, I was thinking that if you have specific needs, a la Brian, then you can get in touch with us. 64046 stephen.sixmusic@bbc.co.uk. Do you have specific Grazer-esque needs? Do you need to know what books to be talking about? Like we know. Do you need to do you need conversation? Do you need to know what's been happening in the news? Do you need an opinion on this or that? Do you need help from Rufus vis-a-vis gentlemanly conduct? Really, you can open the doors open to us, because if we can't help, of course we can throw it back out swap shop style to the listeners, and they hopefully can help you out. I spoke to a chap the other night in the pub, Paul wondering to me, obviously picking my brains on public speaking. Very anxious about public speaking, very difficult that. Had to give a best man speech, very anxious. Now, Rufus is obviously a trained actor. Dan, I know you've been a best man in several occasions. What advice can you give to a man who's got to do some kind of public speaking?
I would say learn to pretend that you're confident, even if you're not.
Okay, learn to pretend to be confident,
Yes.
not just be confident.
No, don't be confident.
don't ever be confident.
Learn to mask the fact that you're absolutely terrified. That's very much what I did.
You're a very cowardly, wimpish man.
Yeah, well, and I'm tiny as well, so,
Yeah.
I can't even intimidate people.
You had to climb onto a chair, grab the
I
microphone.
climbed onto a chair. I was projected, overhead projector.
Sure.
Just beaming my silhouette largely. Speak slowly,
Okay.
I would say, because that imbues you with a sense of confidence.
Okay.
Right now, I'm terrified,
Sure.
but I'm speaking slowly,
Yeah.
and I sound as if I'm very confident.
Yeah. Or dull, one of the two.
Or dull,
yeah.
but probably better to be dull than to be wimpish, terrified, pathetic man.
Rufus, you're a trained actor, and you're a man who almost certainly would have been called on to do a best man in duty in the past.
On one occasion, I have, yes. My advice would be that if anyone's been if anyone's an actor who's listening and has been in a play in which something has gone wrong and the scenery's fallen down, a prop has broken or something, the audience really like that, and they immediately after the scenery's been put back up again, they laugh twice as hard for the rest of the performance. It's a
Sure.
sort of rule of theatre. When you're a best man, people want to laugh. They're ready to laugh.
Yes.
It's like going to a comedy gig. You pay a tenner or more, 15 quid or 20 quid for a comedy gig. You really, really
Yes.
want to laugh. So you sit there kind of beaming even before someone's opened their mouth. So you can trust that everyone's going to laugh. Don't worry. And the other thing is, you're appealing to an audience of everyone from kind of 7-year-olds to 87-year-olds. Don't try anything in the least rude, smutty or risque. Because
Really?
there's nothing worse
Blue.
than a best man speech with a blue reference in it, which the grandma just kind of like blanches, and everyone goes, "Oh, grandma's embarrassed, and I'm embarrassed, and the kids are just inappropriate." Steer clear.
Sammy, you're also a performer. You've had some experience in front of live audience. What advice can you give, perhaps to a lady who's got to do public speaking? It does happen nowadays. I've seen women with business suits having to give PowerPoint presentations. What words of advice can you give?
Low cut top, cheeky smile.
Low cut top,
Yeah.
cheeky spot. You see, she didn't need all your flim flam in, Rufus. That's all she needs to come in. I'm presuming, Harry, you've never had to give any form of public address at all.
Well, obviously no best man speeches. That would be a huge contradiction in terms. But I obviously have to do presentations at work. The power of the handout. Don't underestimate it. If you can give something, everything you've got to say, then they're not even going to listen to you in the first place.
What, is that appropriate at a wedding?
Yeah, I think it should be. Just because people think, oh, what a great best man speech. I wish I could remember it. Oh, the jokes he told. If you've got a handout with it all listed there, then you can take it out and show your friends.
Perhaps some hilarious photos of the happy couple, perhaps when they're young toddlers.
Yeah, I love those.
In a bathing pool.
Yeah.
Oh, happy days. From current album Oracular, Spectacular, MGMT and Electric Feel on the Steve Show, BBC Six Music. So, gentlemen, ladies, I should obviously include ladies in that as well. I don't want to be sexualist. What do I need to know? What's the big hot conversation topic for tomorrow? What's going on?
Well, the big one, Steve, obviously, we're trying to aspire to something a bit more on the Steve Show, but most radio these days just exists to play records and give big shout-outs.
Of course. Do you feel we're not giving enough big shout-outs?
I'd love to be doing more shout-outs.
Can I say that the phrase is shouts out? Rather
it
like,
shouts out?
attorneys general, courts martial.
I don't think so.
I'm not sure
I
it
don't
is,
think
I
so.
think
no.
officially it should be shouts out.
Like Grand Prix.
No, in Radioland it's shout-outs. And Pete Tong, who has an inordinate amount of power, as we know.
power!
He got power.
Yeah.
What he did, he gave a massive shout out, one of many shouts out.
Shout outs.
Basically, a very posh young girl was having a party at a parent's mansion in Bovey Tracy in Devon. They'd arranged for 100 people to turn up.
Classic.
They'd already got 4 bouncers for the door.